Right now, right here on Mountain Connections, we are going to talk about searching for a job. Many people are finding themselves in a position where they want to find a new job, thinking about switching careers. And our recruiter guy, Bill Humbert, he's a talent attraction consultant, is joining us today virtually. Bill, thanks for being here.
Christine, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to our conversation. It's going to be a great one today.
It absolutely is. But before we dig into this topic, I want to wish you a happy 47th wedding anniversary.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really fun to tick off all of those years, and Linda and I have had a great run, and looking forward to a lot more.
Well, it's definitely exciting, an example to all of us. All right, let's get to it. If you are searching for a job right now, there's many things to consider, and you recommend hanging on with your toes, which sounds really hard.
Well, it is, but there are times when you have to, Christine. And by hanging on with your toes, picture yourself right on the edge of a cliff. And, let's say that you have just the balls of your feet on the dirt. And then down below is a long drop. And what you're doing is you're just hanging on with your toes.
That sounds very scary, I have to admit. What emotions do you feel when you're going through something like this, even if it's just a mental exercise?
You know, a lot of times you have difficulty breathing, you have the fear, this being scared. You go through all of that.
And how do you recommend regaining control of the situation, of these emotions, especially as it relates to searching for a job, which is a very emotional process?
It is an emotional process, especially if you're out of work, but it's even an emotional process if you're just looking for a new job. So, what I suggest you do is just take a deep breath, and then, even if you're not feeling confident at that moment, act confident. I had a woman that I was coaching last fall and into March. And when we first started coaching, she just, every time I asked her to do something that she wasn't used to doing, I just got this, kind of scared look on her face. And I said, come on, you're a smart woman. You know what you're doing. You have to act confident. And she didn't at that point really know how to be confident, but I was talking to her about, just look at me in the eye, get prepared, think about what it is that you're going to say, and then act confident. And she worked on that and worked on that. And in March, really after things closed down around March 18th, she received an offer that was 30% above what she was currently making. So I know that hanging on with your toes works.
And what else can you do when you're searching for a job to not let this negativity come into the process and this fear? Because it definitely will change the entire process, the outcome. Any other advice on how to avoid that?
Well, I'll give you a personal experience from my side of things. I worked, I've been a contract recruiter. So what I do is I go into one company at a time and I charge them a flat monthly fee. One of my clients turned out to be a renewable energy firm, and they needed to find construction leadership. Now, the person who was the vice president of construction was a really sharp, really tough woman. And she had to be tougher and smarter than the boys to get that job, let me tell you. So I knew when I went in to see her, I was going to be challenged. And so picture this, the HR director says to me, why don't you guys sit in my office and I'll be back in 5 minutes. And Christine, I thought, the little lamb is being led to slaughter. And sure enough, this vice president of construction sat down with her back to me and looking over her shoulder. And she said, have you ever recruited for construction before? And I said, no. She said, well, good luck with this. Now, at that point, I'd been recruiting for 29 years or so. And so I was confident and I started to laugh. And she said, why are you laughing right now? And I said, think about it. I've been recruiting for 29 years. how many times do you think I've heard those words? And she goes, I don't know. And I said, every single time, because every company's different. And so ended up, she gave me the contract, and she had 3 openings that were crucial openings. And 3 weeks later, we interviewed 5 of my candidates. She hired all three of the 5. So hanging in with your toes pays off.
Your depth of experience, your advice during this time is so essential. So you're hanging on with your toes. You're not letting fear get to you. You're confident. How do you know when you succeed?
That's easy. You get the offer, you get the contract, and then you go and you prove that you are the right person.
Which is exactly what you hope to do. You've mentioned some of your clients during this time. When you look at how they're doing, about what their needs are, how would you summarize that?
Well, let's talk about the 20 million professionals who are out of work. They all go through the grieving process, every single one of them. For some, it's a longer process, and then for others, it's a shorter process, depending on what they've experienced in their past. And so it's important for them to work through that grieving process and try to do it primarily in a couple of weeks to get out of the inaction, the fear, and overcome that, and then go from there and proceed and find a job. So what I've seen is different people have different times it takes for them to get past that inertia. But once you get moving and you start calling 4 people per day for networking purposes, within 90 days you'll have a job. And those statistics have worked for me, Christine, for 25 years, and it's amazing. And I just had a fella call me that I coached in May, and he was a CTO for a company at age 36 in Silicon Valley, and he kept moving up in terms of companies buying his company. So as a bigger company bought his smaller company, he'd get a lower title, but he still had what it takes. And he called me in May. He was laid off, and I coached him. And 61 days after he met with me, he was making 4, 5, 6 calls a day, and he found a new job. So networking is the way to find a new job.
It is reassuring news for anyone who is looking for a job right now. Now, you're a recruiter, a talent attraction consultant. You'll help people virtually, in person, but you also have some books that will help out and a new book coming.
Yes, well, Employee 5.0, Secrets of a Successful Job Search in a New World Order, and this is a new world order, is available on Amazon. Strongly, if you're out of work and you're looking for a job, pick up that book. I don't have a ton of people who have recommended, but a lot of people have gotten back to me privately and said, thank you so much. My new book is Expect Success, The Art of the Over 50 Job Search. And I'm working with a woman who said, you really need to put a chapter for women in that book. And I'm coachable, so I said, what a great idea. So chapter 1's going to be the one where we're talking about the basics, and then chapter 2 is going to be the one specifically for women, and then we're going to go through the entire search for a job process.
Well, Bill Humbert, it's been a pleasure to talk with you today, as always. Very reassuring to hear your positivity during this really tough time of many people looking for jobs. So people can find out more about you at RecruiterGuy.com, and your books are available at Amazon and more. So again, Bill, thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you, Christine. See you next month.
All right, we have more coming up on this Business Wednesday right after this.